Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of News for Normies. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, I cover the week of news in a somewhat short segment here. So, if you are tired of mainstream news, hit that like button, share it, subscribe to the channel. I don't ever say that. I don't know why. I think anyway. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. This week is going to get a little spicy, so buckle up. So to start, a man by the name of Vem Miller was arrested outside of Coachella last week when Trump was supposed to be there to give a speech and all that kind of stuff. You know, he's running for president, if you didn't know. So the sheriff of the county claims that they stopped another assassination attempt on Trump, but the guy that was arrested has been on social media in the past making a lot of pro-Trump content on his social medias and stuff. So it was a very weird situation, I will say. Apparently he was arrested and had like a couple different types of IED and several loaded firearms in the car, which, whatever, dude, like, you're allowed to own guns as long as you're not a felon and all that good stuff. But yeah, it just seems like maybe the police got a little too froggy and stopped a guy that wasn't actually a would-be assassin. So I do applaud the police there for being vigilant. Local police doing a good job, because we know that federal agencies are completely inept at, doing theirs. See Butler, Pennsylvania rally in July when Trump got shot. All right. Kamala Harris, if you didn't know, she's running for president too. Skipped the Al Smith dinner this past week, but instead of going to the dinner, she sent a video of her doing some kind of skit with a former SNL actress. Again, weird. Like, why? Why not just show up and make an appearance in person? Well, it's because she can't talk. Like, she physically can, but she will say a lot of words without saying anything at all. So, Donald Trump was at this event and absolutely roasted everyone there along with Kamala Harris. You can find clips of these on Instagram and Facebook and whatever your preferred social media is. He roasts her for just being stupid, like she's just a not intelligent person. He said to Chuck Schumer, who was immediately next to him, don't worry, Chuck, it's 2024, so you still have time to be the America's first woman president. And just completely roasting him like it was an old school Comedy Central roast or something. It was great. I cannot wait for Trump to take office again. But why is this important? I guess it's a very important thing for these politicians and, ivory tower types to go to. But the last person to skip the Al Smith dinner was Walter Mondale, and he lost the presidential election too. So you can look more into that if you want. Walter Mondale, he ran against Reagan back in the 80s, and he lost. So there's that. It's interesting now, both candidates, Kamala and Trump, are doing their media rounds right now in a last-ditch effort to gain support for their election. Now, personally, I don't understand how anybody can be on the fence between the two, but I'm not going to get on that rant right now. So, Kamala Harris went on Fox News to do an interview with Bret Baier and was absolutely roasted there as well. Apparently, she showed up late, so, really holding up stereotypes there, Kamala, and couldn't answer a single question with any sense of coherence at all. Like, she constantly tried to say that Donald Trump was the problem and that they're going to do things different and, just couldn't give a straight answer. So, in typical Kamala fashion, she said a lot of words without saying anything substantive at all. Just word salad the whole time. If you haven't seen this interview, I encourage you to go watch it, especially if you're a Democrat. Go watch this. Please, please go watch the entire thing in its entirety. Because if you're still supporting this woman, then you're just as dumb as she is. Not gonna mince words here. And other people that don't mince words is JD Vance. He was on TV with a lady by the name of Martha Raddatz, whoever she works for. I don't even know. Was it CNBC, ABC? Anyway, corporate propaganda. But anyway, he ripped her to shreds on a TV interview as well. They began discussing immigration issues in the country, and Raddatz claimed that Venezuelan gangs took over only a few apartment complexes and referred to this as, quote, just a handful of incidents, end quote. And Vance called her out on the spot for brushing off the fact that foreign invaders are taking over apartment complexes in America. So let me say this again slowly and for the people in the back who cannot understand this. Venezuelans, who are not Americans and are part of violent gangs, are coming into America, our country, not Venezuela, America, and are taking over territory and property in America. This kind of stuff is what literally started wars a couple centuries ago. Okay? So the fact that the Democrat Party is just brushing off an invasion from a foreign invader shows you exactly where their priorities are, and it is not you. So again, if you are voting Democrat, you are either retarded or you're an enemy to this nation. Just, again, not mincing words. Because if you are supporting the Democrat Party, you are supporting foreign people coming in and seizing property in this country. That's all there is to it. And I hope that pisses you off. But don't get mad at me. Get mad at yourself for believing the lies for this long. And get mad at the powers that be that are doing this. Facilitating this right in front of your eyes. So, speaking of Venezuelan gangs, they are now causing problems up in Times Square in New York, as well as taking over more apartments in Colorado, and now in San Antonio, Texas. The last one there really surprises me. And I learned a little bit about this week, so I'm going to share this knowledge with you. Why would a sheriff in Texas, out of all of the states, be allowing illegal aliens to invade their county and cause chaos like this? Well, the Baier County, I think it's pronounced Baier County, but it's spelled Bexar. Anyway, the sheriff of the county where San Antonio is, Baier County, is a hardcore Democrat who's supported Kamala Harris and claims that she's, quote, an effective solver of border issues, end quote. Who is this sheriff, you might ask? His name is Javier Salazar, and he is actually running for another term to be sheriff of the county. Guess what, people? Election day is November 5th, 2024, and he is up for election on this one. So, if you live in Baier County and you are tired of this shit, here's your opportunity to get rid of him. Elect him out of office. I gave you his name, when he's up, and what county he's in. The rest is on you, because I live in Ohio. Anyway, moving on. So y'all remember how Kamala Harris and the whole Harris campaign kept claiming, oh, crime's gone down since Biden took over. Things are going well right now. Well, it turns out that was incorrect, and Donald Trump was right once again, because the FBI had to correct their crime statistics from 2022 going forward. And it turns out that crime has gone up since the Harris-Biden administration took over. Who'd have thunk it? It's almost like people have been saying this the entire time. I encourage people I encourage you to kindly talk about these issues when families get together, because we're coming up toward Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff, and don't get into a knockout drag out fight with people, but just, if it comes up in conversation, point out these flaws. Do that for me, please. I'd appreciate it. So, there's a lot of people that need to be elected out of office. Like I just said, the county sheriff in Texas there needs to be removed from office in the legal way possible, vote him out. And there's other people across the country that need to be voted out of office as well. Sherrod Brown from Ohio. Now, he's been in politics for a while, and he's been a senator from Ohio in D.C. since 2007. Okay, last I checked, it's 2024. So he's been a senator for almost 20 years. Before he was in the Senate, he was a U.S. representative from Ohio's 13th district from 1993 to 2007. So therefore, he has been in Washington, D.C. for over 30 years. And before he went to D.C., he was also in Ohio politics and stuff, kind of moving up the ranks or whatever. So, I've heard people talk about in the past, oh, he was influential on this bill and that bill. Okay, cool, whatever. I don't care what good things he's done in the past, because that was in the past. He's been in federal politics for over 3 decades, and he needs to go. That is way too long for any politician to be in office, and that is exactly why I'm voting for Bernie Moreno come November 5th. Okay? That's why we have people like Joe Biden, who's been in federal politics for over half a century, and people like Chuck Grassley from Iowa, who's been in political office longer than Joe Biden. And I don't know if you guys know this, but those two dudes are old as shit, and they're still running things. So I encourage you, if you're in Ohio, to vote against Sherrod Brown. And if you have, federal politicians from your state or your district or whatever that have been in office for 30 years, get them out. Get them out. They gotta go. Vote them out. I don't care, because that is way too long for politicians to be in D.C. Because when you get politicians that get into office for that long, they feel like, they rule things and that they can just do whatever they want. And then you get things like this next story here that I'm going to talk about. I've been critical of the government giving money to every other country but us. And again, the Harris-Biden administration has authorized another $425 million for support of the Ukrainian military. Meanwhile, our borders are being invaded. Like I was just talking about, Venezuelan gangs taking over apartments in the U.S. And Americans are still suffering from Hurricane Helene in North Carolina and Tennessee. So these people just slapping you in the face, and you're just taking it. Why? We've got to get these people out of office. We absolutely have to. And I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Communist, whatever. I don't want communists in office, obviously. But if you've been in office for 20, 30 years, you gotta go. Sorry. Because then we get shit like this. Now, this next thing absolutely terrifies me, and it should make you very... I don't want to put fear into people, but I want people to wake up and realize what is going on, okay? So, DOD Directive 5240.01 has been updated to now allow the U.S. military to use lethal force against American citizens. Why? What is the point of this? This kind of thing has not been allowed from a federal level since 1878. Okay, now... short little history lesson, U.S. Civil War took place between 1861 and 1865. This happened 13 years after the U.S. Civil War ended. So this is very concerning with how close we are to the election, and it's very telling um, what the federal government's motives are. Okay, and this is exactly why people should never give up their guns. That's literally why the founding fathers put the Second Amendment in place to begin with, because they just fought off a tyrannical empire, and they're like, nah, we ain't doing this again. That's why they also didn't say that men have the right to keep and bear muskets, okay? Because they knew that technology would get better over time, and that the average arms that people would bear would become more technologically advanced as time went on, okay? I'm rambling here, so I just wanted to give you a very brief overview of that. Of course, I'm not an expert on this stuff, so if you want to learn a little bit more about this, I'm gonna leave 2 videos in the description here. One from Guns and Gadgets YouTube channel, and one from the Armed Scholar YouTube channel as well. They both did a video talking about this DOD directive. Okay. And by the way, not affiliated with them at all. I just enjoy their content. Go listen to the Liberty Lounge podcast too. It's quite entertaining. Again, no affiliation with those guys. I just enjoy what they do. So, okay. I'm gonna end on a good note here, but and a bit of a call to action. Okay. So, early voting data is showing a major swing in favor of Republicans across the country, and specifically for Donald Trump. So, this gives me some hope for the election, that maybe enough people have woken up from their slumber and realized, oh, the federal government is screwing us every single chance they can. But I also have a little bit of fear that people will get complacent and not go vote, because they're like, they got this in the bag. So my call to action is, do not get complacent and go vote for Donald Trump and any other America First type people on the ballot. And I say America First and not just specifically Republicans, because people like Lindsey Graham are technically Republicans, but they don't put us first, okay? I mean, look at what Lindsey Graham said immediately after Hurricane Helene happened. He was on a TV interview and said, oh, I know that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of, I know that people are hurting here in my state, North Carolina, and here in America because of hurricane, but we got to help Israel fight the enemy over there so we don't have to fight the fight here. It's like, dude, could you be any more tone deaf right now? Like, man, people from your own state that you supposedly represent literally got their homes deleted by God, and you're just like, nah, we gotta go help Israel. So, again, people like Lindsey Graham need to get voted out of office. That sheriff in Bexar County, Javier Salazar, need to be voted out because they do not put us first. And we need to get people in that are going to clean house and get this shit on track. So, with that being said, that's all I got for this week, everybody. If you learned something new and feel like sharing it, please share. I would greatly appreciate that. And go vote. Go vote for Trump. America First, people. And let's get this country back on track. So, I will see y'all next time.